say that this summer has been a great one would be a huge understatement. The amount of growth I've seen in these guys has been incredible. It's been a truly beautiful process, and I feel so blessed to have been able to witness it. There have been ups and downs for each of them, and they've all continued to push and progress through it all. Their resilience and work ethic has been instrumental in their development. But it is their improvement in their self-confidence and belief in themselves that has helped them the most. They are all beginning to figure out just how good they can be, and that's the most important thing I believe I've taught them. Many people are afraid to truly go for what it is that they want. They are afraid of failing and afraid that they aren't good enough and will never be good enough to achieve it. The funny thing about that is that for the vast majority of people, those thoughts are exactly what kill their dreams. They either tell themselves that they'll never be good enough, or they just choose to accept other people's opinions of them. And because they believe they'll never be good enough, they stop trying to be. But as I said, my guys are different. And that's not to say that they're all going to try to be NBA players. They all have different passions and interests, and have different paths that they wish to follow. But the most important thing I stress to them is that they aim as high as they can and believe in themselves no matter what path it is that they choose to follow. Because that belief is the biggest factor that separates those that do average things in life and those that achieve greatness. Constantine has gotten so much better, it's ridiculous. His jumper and ability to get it off have improved drastically, and I'm really proud of how far he's come. But he's also gotten much stronger and has improved his touch around the rim. He has the necessary tools and skills to be an elite scorer. I've seen flashes of it many times, but the key for him now is to bring a killer's mentality every single time he steps on the court. If he's able to do that, let's just say the competition is in trouble. But if he doesn't, all of his work and progress will be for nothing. And I'm sure Constantine will agree. He's worked way too hard to let it all go to waste. AJ has the potential to be a deadly scorer as well. In the majority of games I've seen him play, he's put up points very quickly and in bunches, by either lighting teams up from the outside or getting to the basket and finishing with a nice looking floater. AJ needs to begin working on his body now and getting stronger and faster. He's very skilled, and that allows him to take advantage of his scoring opportunities. But as time goes on and his opponents begin to get stronger and more athletic, he will not be able to remain as effective if he doesn't also improve in those areas. Also, as he continues to advance, coaches will begin to care more and more about the defensive end. And if he's a liability on that end, it will hurt his playing time. But AJ already knows all of this, and he's already begun working on these areas. Now, I'm a really big fan of Shak's game. He's an extremely smart and confident player, and I'm very impressed with how he's able to lead and control his teams. He can handle and shoot the ball very well, and is also an elite defender. But the main knock on Shak is that he needs to get stronger. Because he'll be playing senior ball this season, it is especially important that he really focuses on improving in this area. We worked on strength training every session, and I think we've laid a very solid foundation for him going forward. As long as he keeps up with the training while I'm away, he'll be just fine. He played up in a few tournaments last season, and has already experienced how different it is playing at that level. So those experiences, along with the fact that he's a very hard worker, are why I'm not really too concerned about Shak this season. Jared and Justin also got some great sessions in with me. Jared's shooting ability is his biggest asset, and like AJ, he just needs to really commit to working on his body. If he starts doing that, and working on his strength and conditioning, he'll begin to realize his potential. Justin is an excellent ball handler and playmaker. We worked a lot on improving his shooting because with his quickness and ability to get into the paint, teams will begin giving him space to get it off. If he's able to punish them for that, they won't know what to do. Now, I've already talked a lot about Travis and how proud I am of his progress. The area he's seen the most improvement in is how he thinks. He's always had the skills, but now he's much more confident and assertive. He's gotten much stronger and faster since the offseason began as well, and has even began blowing by and finishing over players much older than him. I'm very excited to see how this season goes for him. Nicholas, Omar, and Michael impressed me every time we worked out. I can tell that they're all trying to absorb as much as they can each session, and that's really a great sign. Nicholas works out with Shak a lot of the time, and having Shak push him in workouts has been great for him. He's gotten in much better basketball shape since we began working out, and his footwork has seen a lot of improvement. We're continuing to work on his shot, which is effective, but can be even more efficient if he's able to get used to keeping his elbow in. Omar works very hard, and he has learned a lot of different ways to take advantage of his great strength. His shooting has also gotten a lot better, and more work in that area would help his game a lot. Now Michael, on the other hand, is already a very good shooter, and for him, the key was working on different ways of getting to the basket and finishing. He has good strength and athleticism for his size and age, and he's already a lockdown defender. But if he can begin using those tools to his advantage on the offensive end, instead of always just relying on the three, he could become even more dangerous. Orion and Madison are my two youngest and newest clients, but I absolutely loved training them this summer. And they loved every minute of training as well. They brought passion, enthusiasm, and energy to each and every workout. And because of that, they improved at a rate that I can hardly imagine. I really look forward to getting back in the gym with them over Christmas break when they're back from school. Zach is by far the most athletic client I have. I don't remember watching any of his games and he not be the most athletic player on the court. He's also improved his shooting and ball handling a lot since I began working with him these past few years, and I'm very pleased with the rate at which his skills have been improving. The key now is for him to start using those skills. Because he was always so physically imposing, Zach always played center growing up. As a result, he has very little experience playing the guard and wing positions, and is now having to learn how to play these positions effectively. Figuring out where to attack, when to shoot, and how to apply his new skills is the next step for him. Once he's able to learn that, and once he realizes that he has the potential to be one of the top players in the country, everything will start coming together for him. I was really impressed with Igor this offseason. He's gotten so much better since I first met him. Just like many of the other players I train, he has the skills to be an all-around scorer. But just like the majority of them, coming out of his comfort zone is the next step. I mean, he's already begun executing and applying his new skills to pickup games, but now he just needs to take that next step and begin trying new things in actual games. He just needs to understand that every time he makes a mistake, it just means that he's learning. A mistake is only an opportunity to improve, and he needs to understand that by being willing to try new things and possibly make mistakes, he's really just making himself a better player. There are a lot of spot-up shooters in the basketball world, but Igor is too skilled to limit himself to being just that. So Igor, try new things, and if you mess up, just learn how to do those things better. Even though mistakes feel bad in the beginning, they help you in the long term if you stay confident and keep working to improve in those areas. As for me, I've been making a very conscious effort of practicing what I preach. Each day I remind myself why I'm capable of achieving what it is that I want to achieve. And even though it's only been men's league that I've played this summer, I can tell that it's working. I can feel it. I'm just excited to show it once my season starts.
Get the three. That's it. That's it. Get the three.
Now to each of my Elevate athletes, I say this: believe in your greatness. Each and every one of you are capable of dominating this season. There will certainly be setbacks, learning curves, people hating, and situations that are unfavorable. That happens to everyone. But it's how we react to those things that determines our outcomes. In those times, your willingness to press on and continue believing in your abilities is what will catapult you ahead. All of you are capable of becoming the best players on your teams, in your regions, and in your class. But step one is to know that you can. As Michael Jordan once said, you have to expect great things of yourself before you can do them. So I want all of you to attack this season with absolute confidence. We'll be back in the gym together soon, and we'll have some great stories to share.